No rule!
Nick and Jow are here.
Uh, they're so sweet. I had to post um, Britain because I think Britain and Dominic have been amazing. I know they didn't get as much screen time as everybody else, but I think they were amazing, and I like their love for Nick and Jawa. So I'm so happy for them. I like how excited Britain got, and with Jawa when they found out that the rules, no longer applied, and they were jumping so that they could get their kiss, and it was the sweetest thing and ever. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie again. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a like and a comment and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Too Hot to Handle Season 4, Episode 10. I'm thinking of going to strike outside Netflix because I think Too Hot to Handle deserves more episodes than just 10. This season was amazing. I wish they'd given us at least 15. Anyway, I digress. Oh my God, I'm so ecstatic. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I think the right winners won. But anyway, and so it starts off with Creed having everybody has been called to the cabana, and Creed is confronted by Lana to say, you need to be honest with both Imogen and Flavia and tell them the truth. You need to make a choice. And Creed, I don't understand him, whether it's his pride or whatever. I think he just didn't want to look like a jackass. And Sophie was right because Sophie told Flavia that don't listen to this. We've got a real connection. We've got a blah, blah, because he could be faking you. And Creed lived up to what Sophie said. And I wish she'd been around to say, I told you so. I told you so. And I told you so. He looks like he's got a type. He's got a type with ladies with dark hair because Sophie looks exactly, her features are sort of similar to Flavia. They're sort of similar to Imogen. So he has a type that he likes, and the fact that he couldn't be honest with both girls and just tell them, because he kept going to Flavia and telling Flavia, "Oh, I've broken things off with Imogen," and then he'd go to Imogen and say, "Oh, I am attracted to you, and I want to get to know you and see how things go." And I don't know how long he was planning on playing it when he knew that he only had one day to go. I don't know whether he thought he could get to the finale and finish and then go home and then decide who he wanted. Because even on his exit interview, he said he couldn't decide who he was interested in, which I found to be strange. Everybody was upset. As Seb said, Creed was his best friend in the resort, so he was upset about that. Uh, Jawa and Nick were crying. Everybody wished him well, and he was a bit sarcastic in the way he said, "Okay, enjoy your last night." And it's like, even if it's just one night, the fact that you couldn't allow yourself to give these girls closure and just tell them, I'm sorry. I played around with both your feelings. I was stuck and I didn't know who to choose, and I kept trying to find sort of a solution or to find who I was attracted to, who I had a better connection with, but I was struggling. That's all he could have said. That's all he could have said. But he couldn't bring himself to say that. And I don't understand why. So Lana then asks him to leave the villa, which he does, and I think that's only fair. That's only fair because he can't play with people's emotions. I did say this before. He can't play with people's emotions and expect to get away with and say he's had growth for however long they've been in this resort. That doesn't make sense. So everybody goes to the bedroom and you can tell, the couples are lovey-dovey. Seb and Kayla are there, Jawa and Nick are there, and Britton and James. It's sad that Britton and James didn't sort of progress as much as everybody else, or we didn't get to see them because I think they had a cute connection. I like the fact that Britton initially, because I had to rewatch because I was just so excited after watching episode 10. I rewatched, and Britton, from the moment she saw James, she went after James, said what the qualities that she liked about James. Nothing about it was about his physical features, but she described what she liked about him. And yes, they had the ups and downs, but I think they were a great couple. I think if we'd got to see more episodes, maybe they would have been featured more, but I don't know. So everybody's in the bedroom, and then Imogen goes to Flavia. They have a conversation about Nick and sort of become, become friends, or they bond on their common, um, I don't want to say enemy, common dislike for Nick and how he treated them. They then decided to share the bed, and I laughed when Sean said, "Oh, the main chick and the side chick." If Creed were here, he would just be saying "f." Oh my god! Because now his main chick and his side chick are sharing the same bed. Everybody's excited. Nick and Jawa are in their own, little paradise. I think everybody's just happy that they're at the finale, and it's about to come to an end. And I think they will miss each other. So the morning after, Lana reports that she will be announcing the finalists later in the day, and everybody must enjoy the last 12 hours that they have at the resort. And I love the girls. I think the girls had a great bond. The boys had a great bond. The when Lana finishes her messages, the girls, started a pillow fight. And I wish we had more episodes. That way, we could have seen the not relationships per se, but we could have also seen the friendships that will form. Because now that they're out and I think they're promoting the show, you see them post each other regularly. They're spending a lot of time with each other, and I wish we'd seen some of those relationships, and I wish we'd seen a lot more of people like Dominic. I think Dominic deserved was done a great injustice. She deserved more screen time because she was funny as hell. Anyway, they then have one last sort of workshop where they are asked to draw their flags that sort of represent them. And everybody was cute. They were talking about those in relationships, talked about their relationships, and those that were single, talked about their growth along the journey. And then they're both all called, to the cabana, and sort of Lana announces the four finalists, and mentions that she's had to change her rules for the season for who gets into the finale. So first is Kayla, who's nominated. Then there's Seb, so they're nominated as a couple. And then the next one is Nick. And Nick, when he's nominated, he's saying, I hope it's Joe. I want Joe. I want Joe to, she deserves to win. She's been through a lot. She's opened up. She's grown a lot, so she deserves to win. And when he's called up, Jawa's called, you can see both their excitement, because I like the fact that how excited Jawa got when Nick was called, and his excitement when she was called. And um people I think people expected to be called individually, but because they were couples that had progressed more than some of the individual people, I think this is why Lana decided to nominate them as couples. And I think Seb and Kayla, if they're totally being honest, knew they were screwed the moment that Jawa and Nick stood up. I think if they'd gone against maybe Britton and James, they might have had a better shot. But Jawa and Nick had the most growth, and they were a relationship that was more than just a sexual connection. They were people who were getting to know each other and sort of help each other make the transition into becoming a couple. So I think they knew that they were screwed. And then, the finalists were asked to go to the beach, and everybody else remained behind. And they were told, you're going to have to decide which couple you feel deserves the prize. And so, Joanne Nick, Kayla, I think, was too confident, in my opinion. I think she was too confident. I think she felt she was going to win. I was surprised though when the results were announced, because I kept questioning who was the one person who didn't vote for Nick and Joe, because they might as well not have voted. Because how do you get one vote out of seven? The majority spoke. It wasn't a matter of four and three, and then whatever, them having to sort of decide, Lana having to do a tiebreaker. It was just a majority rule. And I think the person that voted for Kayla and Seb was Imogen, because her face dropped the moment that Jawa was announced as a finalist. You could tell she wasn't happy with that. Her face, she had a funny facial expression. I don't want to say she was happy, but she didn't look like she was excited as everybody else. And then when the couples were told you need to be in all white, everybody else went to vote for who they felt was right. And you could tell by some of the things that the people said, um, you know, some people were being vague about their comments of who they were going to vote for. And Dominic was precise to the point. She spoke about, she's going to vote for the people that stood out because of their honesty and commitment to one another. And I knew, without someone telling me, I knew for the fact that Dominic and Britain were always going to vote Nick and Jao, because they were two of the loudest cheerleaders. Yes, everybody else cheered them on, but they were two of the loudest cheerleaders for Jawa and Nick, especially when they were having their problems. Dominic, telling all the other girls when they're saying, "Oh, she needs to be with Sean," blah blah blah. and she spoke her truth, and she told them no, Nick is the person for her. She's trying to run away from him, but she knows he is her person. And Britain taking time out to sit down with Jawa and sort of have a conversation and help her sort of analyze what was going on and, make sense of whatever trouble she was going through. That was amazing. And then everybody got ready. They sat down at the beach. They waited for the finalists. And there's this sweetness and this caring and compassion that Jawa and Nick have, that they don't have to speak. And you can tell it's not always about sex. They have a connection that I think far surpasses that. Whereas Seb and Kayla, I think their main connection is the sexual aspect of their relationship. And I think if that fails, then their relationship is going to crumble, because what would I say, more or less like they built their house on the sand. And because all their time in the villa they kept focusing on the sexual aspect of their relationship, the fact that when Kayla felt, worried that she was going to lose Seb, the first thing she did was go and have sex with him. Whereas Jawa and Nick, when they were having problems about Sean, they sat down and they spoke about it and discussed it. And Nick was always asking Jawa, "You need to speak up. You need to tell me what you want. I can't guess what you need. You need to tell me what you want so that I know, because I don't want to force you to be in anything that you don't want to be." So I think Nick and Jawa have a greater chance than Seb and Kayla. I'm so sorry if there are any Seb and Kayla fans. I'm just being honest. This is just my honest opinion. And then so they then went to the beach where everybody else was sat, and you could tell as soon as they arrived. Imogen was sitting next to Kayla. She welcomed, "Hi, finalists," and it's like, okay. And Seb and Kayla were dressed as winners because they looked amazing. Whereas because they were very formal, whereas Jawa and Nick were very informal. And Jawa thanked everybody for the experience, and she had had a great time. And you know, Seb said his own piece, and when Seb said his piece, it was interesting because of his accent. He was saying, we are living here as different inside, but the same faces, and everybody started laughing because he said faces. With his Scottish accent, he's got a very thick Scottish accent, so everybody started mocking him and laughing. And then Lana then announced the winner. Oh my God, I love it. Because I think what I think is everybody that voted for Nick and Jawa were people that started the journey with them from day one, bar Sean. I think Sean voted for Nick and Jawa just because he initially was saying that Jawa should win because of the journey she had taken. So I think everybody else that voted, so that's Nigel, Dominic, James, Britton, F- Flavia. I think it's because they've spent a lot of time with Nick and Jawa and they've seen their progress, especially the main four that are still there from the beginning. They've seen how they've transitioned, they've changed from who they were, and they've seen the progress, and they've been there to watch them as they've struggled with their relationship. So it was nice for them, when they won, their excitement. I think the guys had a lot of respect for, I think Nigel, Sean, and James had a lot of respect for Nick, the way he treated Jawa, because of how, it's this young black lady that's broken, that's going through a lot, that's struggling. And he was there to support her. He never undermined her. He never disrespected her. His goal was always to protect her, love her, and empower her. So I think because when they won, you could see the guys were so excited and they were congratulating him. Nigel was the loudest screamer there, and so I was so happy to see the girls that were excited for them. Imogen, for me, I don't know. I think it's because she's a late comer, and so she had her own perception of what the result was. Because even when Jawa and Nick were announced, the way she opened her mouth, her jaw dropped to the floor. I don't get what she didn't get. I think it's because she came in late, but I think if nothing else, she should have checked with everybody else, because everybody else that was there was not surprised that Nick and Jawa won. And the other thing is, Kayla was not happy that they didn't win. You could tell she was not happy, and she couldn't be a good sport about it because she was like, "Oh, we you can make money anytime, but real love is difficult to find." And it's like, what makes you believe that Nick and Jawa don't really love one another? What makes you think that oh, I've got the best man here, and it's like, you didn't win. All you could have said is, "Congratulations to Nick and Jawa. I'm so happy for them. I wish them all the best." And that's it. And the fact that Seb sort of chimed in, "Oh, that's yeah, that fair statement." And it's like, Nick and Jawa deserve to win. The two of you spent 71,000. You already won your share. They deserve. Yes, they did spend money, but they spent, I think between the two of them, they spent about 40,000 or something like that. So they spent less than Seb and Kayla. So Seb and Kayla have no reason to be upset. They broke the rules. They spent the most money in the resort. That's it. That's what it is. I love Jawa and Nick. I love the fact that you were singing to her when it was announced when they finished. Oh God! And I loved their exit interview. The way they were excited. Um, Kayla and Kayla and Seb. Given the fact that they left in a relationship, that was enough for them. That's more, as they said, you can always make money. There was no need for the long faces that they had because their statement was, "You can always make money, but you can't find true love." Well, they found true love. Why are they upset? Anyway, I digress. This was an amazing, 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 amazing season. Amazing. It started off very cold, and then as it's progressed, it's become more and more enjoyable. There was no toxicity. The girls all got along. The boys all got along, which was amazing. And there was no sort of unnecessary drama, which is what I liked. But anyway, this has been an amazing season. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And see you. Hopefully, Netflix picks up season 5 in season 5 for to hatch a handle. Or any other show that I'm going to review. Thanks, guys. Bye, everyone.